So the idea also that the church was persecuted and living in catacombs during the Roman Empire, to some degree, that story is a myth. It's not, yes, it's true, but also it's not true the way that you understand it. The Roman Empire was, oddly enough, relatively tolerant of different religions. Now, do understand there were periods of persecution, right? There were certainly periods of persecution. There were 10 great persecutions, but it wasn't like that all the time. So by the year 250, approximately 15% of the Roman Empire's 50 million inhabitants were Christian. The growth of Christianity in the Roman Empire during the 200s was explosive. Estimates are that roughly 5% of the population of Rome was converting, of the empire, was converting to Christianity every year. So Christianity was growing with a rapid pace. It was starting to outstrip paganism, which is interesting. Everyone says it's paganism, then why were the pagans complaining? So Constantine's revolution was a response to the growth of Christianity, this explosive social growth of Christianity within the empire, and he was not the primary driver or instigator. He was responding to it. So there were 10 great persecutions, and then we had the Edict of Milan. So there's an interesting article in Myth-Busting Ancient Rome, Throwing Christians to the Lions. It's a good article. There's a couple of weird things in there. They draw some very odd conclusions, which I would question. But yeah, so Christians were persecuted sporadically, and usually locally throughout the Roman Empire. So it wasn't always consistent throughout the empire, right? Beginning in the 1st century AD and ending in about the 4th century AD. Now, there was never sustained targeted persecution of Christians by imperial Roman authorities. So official persecutions of Christians by order of the Roman emperor lasted for at most 12 years of the first 300 years of the church's history. And the myth of constant persecution largely comes from 2 works written in the early 4th century. So you've got On the Deaths of the Persecutors by Lactantius, who was a Christian professor of Latin, and the Church History of Eusebius, right, Bishop of Caesarea in modern-day Israel. Christians were charged with committing arson or other crimes. The famous crime, of course, in AD 64, the burning of Rome by Nero. So while some people were very cruelly tortured and they were brutally executed for very unjust reasons, the majority of the Christians avoided punishment. So we've got to fix a little bit of history there. And Constantine did not make Christianity the state religion of Rome. He put his blessing on Christianity, right? He allowed for its practice, and he hoped, for political reasons, of course, him being the emperor, that Christianity would bring unity and civic pride, God and country, right, to his pagan countrymen. He was originally pagan. So he wanted to revive the very powerful appeal of God and country in the empire. He couldn't have a divided empire. This was causing social friction. He needed to unify the nation. Christianity seemed the way to go as the growing force. So, Sol Invictus. This is another claim that Muslims, atheists, and others love to throw towards Christians, right? Yes, electrostatic. That makes good sense. So, if you can't beat them, join them. Athanasius and the desert monks of Egypt, they were very sincere Christians, right? And they were there prior to Constantine. So Constantine sponsored the version of Christianity that came from Athanasius. So we need to go back to these early church fathers to learn what they believed and what they practiced. Now, the rise of Christianity in the 3rd century was a threat to the Roman emperors, right? The great persecution of 303 AD was prompted by the fear of the spread of Christianity. Now, many people claim historically that Sol Invictus was a pre-existing pagan holiday dedicated to the unconquered sun. I've seen Muslims make this claim a lot. I've seen atheists make this claim. But the cult of Sol Invictus, a Syrian sun god, was first promoted in Rome under Emperor Elagabalus in the 3rd century AD. And it was not a successful cult. It failed. So understand, this came well after Christianity, nearly 300 years. So this is not something that they can pin on us. Just shows how ridiculously, historically stupid atheists and also Muslims are. They'll say anything. Yeah, I know. So many people have made this claim. So the cult of Sol Invictus was established as an official religion by Emperor Aurelian on December 25, AD 274, alongside traditional Roman cults. Sol Invictus was a name used for several Roman deities. He's not one deity. And this name was applied to Jupiter, Mars, Hercules, Apollo, and Silvanus. So there's not a consistency there, right? So you've got often the same name applied to multiple different deities which makes no sense, but yeah, But then again, these things rarely make any sense, right?